In Zen, we often speak about beginner's mind. This means seeing the world as if for the first time. It is a way of being open, curious, and without judgment. When you were a child, everything was new. You asked questions. You looked at things with wonder. Nothing was boring, because you were still learning. Beginner's mind brings us back to that place. As we grow older, we think we know many things. We have seen much. We have learned from our experiences. This is good, but it can also become a problem. When we believe we already know, we stop looking deeply. We stop asking questions. We may say, "I've seen this before," and turn away. We forget how to be surprised. Beginner's mind is not about being foolish. It does not mean forgetting what we have learned. Instead, it means keeping a soft mind. A soft mind can bend. It can grow. It can accept new things without fear. A hard mind is full and closed. A soft mind is empty and ready. In our practice, beginner's mind helps us stay present. It helps us listen. When we think we know what someone will say, we stop truly hearing them. But if we listen with beginner's mind, we hear their words in a new way. We might even understand something we missed before. Some people say, "But I've been practicing for many years. I'm not a beginner anymore." That may be true in time, but not in spirit. A master returns again and again to the basics. The basics are never finished. Every breath is a chance to start again. This way of seeing is not only for meditation or study. It is for cooking rice. It is for walking to the store. It is for talking with your family. With beginner's mind, everything becomes fresh. Even the smallest moment can feel alive. To return to a beginner's mind is to come home, not to the past, but to this moment, just as it is. Nothing more is needed. When we are young, we are full of questions. We want to know how things work, why the sky is blue, or where the sun goes at night. We are not afraid to say, "I don't know." But as we grow older, something changes. We begin to feel that not knowing is a weakness. We think we must always have answers. In school, at work, even in daily life, people reward those who seem confident and sure. We learn that having knowledge brings respect. This is not bad. Knowledge is helpful. But over time, we may start to believe that we must always appear strong, always be right. Slowly, the door to wonder begins to close. We also collect habits. We find routines that make life easier. We walk the same way to the store. We eat the same breakfast. We talk to people in the same patterns. Habits can bring comfort, but they can also make us sleepy inside. We stop noticing the details. Life begins to feel dull, not because it is dull, but because we are not really looking. Another reason we lose our beginner's mind is fear. When we try something new, we may feel unsure. We might fail. We might look foolish. So we choose safety. We stay in what is familiar. But this safety can become a cage. It keeps us from learning. It keeps us from feeling alive. There is also pride. Sometimes we don't want to start over. We don't want to say, "I was wrong," or "I don't understand." Our ego becomes large. We want to protect our image, but this pride keeps us from growth. A full cup cannot receive new tea. Losing beginner's mind happens slowly. It is not something we choose. It is something that builds over time. But the good news is this: we can return to it. We can notice when we are closed and gently open again. It takes honesty. It takes courage. But it is always possible. To live with a beginner's mind is not childish. It is deeply human. It brings light back into the ordinary. And though we may forget it many times, we can always begin again. Many people feel uncomfortable when they don't know something. In conversations, they try to look smart. In life, they try to stay in control. We are taught that knowing brings power, and not knowing brings shame. But in truth, not knowing can be beautiful. When we admit we don't know, we open ourselves. We make space. This space is where real learning begins. If we pretend to know everything, we close the door to growth. But when we say, "I don't know," we invite life to teach us. Think about standing under the night sky. You may not know the names of the stars. You may not understand how far they are. But in that not knowing, there is wonder. There is silence and awe. That feeling is sacred. It brings us closer to something greater than ourselves. In our relationships too, not knowing can help. When someone is upset, we may want to fix it right away. We may think we know what they need. But if we can pause and not assume, we might listen more deeply. We might really hear them. Not knowing allows us to be present instead of rushing to solve. There is also peace in not knowing the future. We often worry about what will happen next. Tomorrow, next week, next year. But the truth is, we never really know. We make plans, but life changes. When we can accept that we don't know what will come, we relax a little. We stop fighting reality. Some people think that not knowing means being weak. But it takes strength to stay open. It takes quiet confidence to say, "I'm not sure, but I'm willing to find out." This kind of mind is flexible, alive, and awake. There is a Zen phrase, "Great doubt, great awakening." It means that when we are not sure, when we are searching, we are truly alive. Certainty can make us lazy. Doubt can make us look again. So we can choose to find beauty in not knowing. It is not a mistake. It is a doorway. A beginner's mind does not rush to answers. It stays in the question. And sometimes, that is where the deepest truth is waiting. When you wake up in the morning, do you notice the light coming through the window? Do you feel the air on your skin? Most of us do not. We are already thinking about the day ahead, what we have to do, where we have to go. The world becomes background noise. We stop seeing what is in front of us. A beginner's mind invites us to look again, to see the world as if it is new, because in truth, it is new. Each morning is not the same as the one before. The sky is not the same. The faces around us are not the same. Even our own thoughts and feelings are different. But we often miss this, because we are not really looking. Think about something as simple as a cup. You may have used the same cup every day for years. But have you really seen it? The shape, the texture, the way the light touches its surface? When we slow down and look with fresh eyes, even a simple cup can become beautiful. It becomes more than an object. It becomes a moment of connection. Seeing with new eyes means letting go of labels. Instead of thinking, "This is a tree," we look at it without the word. We see its movement, its colors, its stillness. It becomes not just a tree, but this tree in this moment. That small shift changes everything. Many people travel to new countries to feel alive. They want new sights, new sounds, new food. But you do not need to go far. You can find that same sense of wonder on your own street. Look at the cracks in the sidewalk. Listen to the birds. Feel the weight of your own footsteps. The world is always speaking, but only if we are quiet enough to see it. The beginner's mind brings freshness back into our lives. Not by changing what we see, but by changing how we see. It is like cleaning a dusty window. The view was always there. We just needed to clear the glass. To see the world with new eyes is a gift. And it is one we can give ourselves again and again. Knowledge is a powerful thing. It helps us solve problems, make decisions, and understand the world. But too much knowledge, or the belief that we know everything, can become a trap. It can block us from truly seeing what is in front of us. When our minds are full of facts, opinions, and explanations, we often stop paying attention. We see something, and our brain says, "I already know that." So we move on. We don't take the time to look deeper. We don't ask new questions. We live in the shadow of what we think we know. This happens in many areas of life. In relationships, for example, we might believe we already understand someone completely. We stop listening carefully. We stop being curious. But people change. Each day is a little different. If we approach someone with the idea that we know them fully, we might miss who they are today. The same is true for our surroundings. You might walk the same path every morning and believe there is nothing new to see. But is that really true? Or have you simply stopped looking? When we let go of the idea that we already know, we begin to discover again. Too much knowledge can also make us proud. We start to think we are better than others. We may become impatient with those who are still learning. This kind of thinking creates distance. It separates us. But in truth, we are all learning. No one has everything figured out, not even the wise. Another danger is that knowledge can create fear. When we know more, we begin to see all the things that could go wrong. We become cautious, even anxious. We want to control the outcome. But a beginner's mind accepts not knowing. It allows for surprise, for joy, even for mistakes. It is not wrong to have knowledge, but we must carry it lightly. Like holding water in our hands, it can slip away if we try to grip it too tightly. A beginner's mind balances knowing and openness. It understands that real wisdom is not in having all the answers, but in being open to what we don't yet understand. If we want to return to a beginner's mind, we must first return to humility. Humility is not about thinking less of ourselves. It is about seeing ourselves clearly, our strengths, our limits, and the vastness of what we still don't know. It is the quiet understanding that we are always learning, no matter how far we've come. In today's world, we are often told to stand out, to prove ourselves, to compete. This can make us afraid to admit when we don't know something. We feel pressure to appear confident, even when we feel unsure inside. But beginner's mind begins with honesty, and honesty begins with humility. When we are humble, we don't pretend to have all the answers. We listen more. We ask questions without shame. We are willing to be taught, even by someone younger, or by someone with less experience in other areas. This kind of openness is not weakness. It is a quiet strength. Think of a mountain. It does not shout or move quickly. It stands still, grounded and silent. Humility is like that mountain. It allows us to remain calm, even when we are unsure. It gives us the space to breathe, to observe, and to begin again. Sometimes people confuse humility with low self-worth, but they are not the same. Low self-worth says, "I'm not good enough." Humility says, "I don't need to be better than others." It is peaceful. It is simple. It removes the need to compare. When we stop comparing, we begin to see things more clearly. Humility also helps us learn from failure. When our ego is too large, mistakes feel painful. We try to hide them or blame others. But with humility, we can look at our mistakes directly. We can say, "I was wrong," and grow from it. In this way, failure becomes a teacher. To return to a beginner's mind, we do not need to start over completely. We simply need to soften, to bow a little lower, to say, "Maybe there's more I haven't seen yet." That small step, back to humility, is the way back to wonder, to openness, and to a life that is always fresh. Many people think that learning and wisdom only come from special places, temples, books, or great teachers. But in truth, life itself is the greatest teacher. And the best lessons often come in ordinary moments, not in big events. A beginner's mind helps us see this. When you wash a dish, it might feel like nothing special. You may want to finish quickly and move on to something more important. But in that small task, there is something to learn. How does the water feel on your hands? Are you rushing? Are you present? Or are you thinking about something else? That dish is your teacher, if you are willing to learn. The same is true when you stand in line at a store. You might feel bored or impatient, but that moment is a chance to watch your thoughts. Do you feel restless? Are you judging others around you? Or can you stand quietly, just noticing? Even waiting becomes part of the lesson. A beginner's mind doesn't look for big experiences. It finds meaning in small things. A smile from a stranger, the sound of leaves in the wind, the feeling of walking barefoot in the grass. These moments are not separate from spiritual life. They are spiritual life. Often people search for answers far away. They travel, read many books, or chase after new ideas. But the truth is already here, in this moment, in this life. We just need to stop and look. And to look, we must slow down. We must stop thinking we already know. When we live with a beginner's mind, even a mistake becomes a lesson. Burning the rice, losing your keys, forgetting someone's name, these are not failures. They are invitations. They show us where we are not paying attention. They ask us to come back, to start again. Children learn because they play. They explore. They are not afraid to fall. As adults, we forget this. We want to be perfect. But perfection is not the goal. Being awake to life, that is enough. Everything around you is trying to teach you something. You don't need a special setting. You don't need perfect silence. You just need the willingness to see. With a beginner's mind, everyday life becomes a path, and every step, no matter how small, becomes sacred. The present moment is always here, yet we often miss it. Our minds drift to the past, or jump ahead to the future. We replay old conversations or plan what we'll do next. This habit pulls us away from where life is actually happening, right now. A beginner's mind helps us return. To notice the present moment, we don't need anything special. We don't need to sit on a cushion or go to a quiet place. We only need to pay attention with a fresh mind. That means looking without judgment. It means noticing without trying to control or explain. You might begin by simply feeling your breath, not changing it, just noticing. Is it deep or shallow? Fast or slow? It may feel strange at first, because we're not used to watching something so ordinary. But the breath is always here, always moving. It can gently bring us back to now. Look around you. What do you see? Don't name the objects. Try to see the colors, the shapes, the light and shadows. Hear the sounds without labeling them. Feel the temperature on your skin. These are the details of the present, and they are always changing. Even if you are in the same room, no moment is exactly like the one before. When we bring beginner's mind to the present, we stop looking for meaning right away. We stop trying to decide if something is good or bad, useful or wasteful. We just let it be what it is. This kind of seeing is soft. It's gentle. It allows the moment to open on its own. Sometimes we resist the present because it feels uncomfortable. We want to be somewhere else, doing something else. But even discomfort is part of now. A beginner's mind says, "Let me see this clearly." Not to escape, but to understand. We don't need to be perfect at this. We forget, again and again. That's okay. The beauty of the present is that it always waits. It doesn't punish us for leaving. It simply welcomes us back each time we return. To notice the present moment anew is to meet life as it truly is, not as we wish it to be, but as it is. And in that meeting, something softens, something awakens. We begin to truly live. One of the hardest things for many of us is to let go of control. We want life to go our way. We make plans, we set goals, and we hope things will happen just as we imagine. But life is not something we can fully control, and when we hold too tightly, we suffer. A beginner's mind does not try to force things. It stays open to what is. It allows life to unfold, moment by moment. This doesn't mean we stop caring. It means we stop gripping so hard. We do our part, and then we release the rest. Control often comes from fear. We worry that if we let go, something bad will happen. We fear uncertainty. But the truth is, even when we try to control everything, we still can't predict the future. Life is always changing. The more we try to control it, the more tension we create inside ourselves. Expectation is another form of control. We create a picture in our minds of how things should be, how others should act, how we should feel, how our day should go. When reality doesn't match that picture, we feel disappointed or upset. But often, it's not the situation itself that causes pain. It's the gap between what we expected and what is. A beginner's mind lets go of that picture. It meets life without demanding that it look a certain way. It says, I don't know what will happen, and that's okay. This kind of attitude brings peace. It brings freedom. Letting go doesn't mean giving up. It means stepping back. It means trusting that we don't need to control everything to be okay. It means making space for the unknown. In that space, something new can arise. Something better than we imagined. This letting go is not a one-time act. We do it again and again. Each day offers a chance to loosen our grip, to soften our hearts, and to welcome whatever comes. When we release control and expectation, we discover a quiet strength. We are no longer fighting life. We are walking with it. And in that walk, the beginner's mind smiles, not because everything is perfect, but because everything is alive, and we are part of it. When we were children, we were naturally curious. We touched everything, asked endless questions, and explored without fear. The world was wide and full of mystery. Somewhere along the way, we started to believe we had to know everything. We stopped asking. We stopped exploring. But a beginner's mind invites us to return, to live with curiosity and openness once more. Curiosity is not about having all the answers. It's about asking, what is this? With honesty and interest. When we meet each moment with that simple question, the world opens up. Even something we've seen 1,000 times becomes new. The key is to stay open, not to jump to conclusions. Living with openness means allowing life to surprise us. It means saying yes to new experiences, even if they are small, trying a different route home, talking to someone you normally wouldn't, eating slowly just to notice each flavor. These are small acts, but they wake us up. They remind us that life is not fixed. It's always unfolding. Openness also means letting people be who they are, not trying to change them, not putting them in boxes. We often judge quickly, based on first impressions or old stories. But a beginner's mind asks us to pause, to look again, to wonder, who is this person today? That simple question can change how we relate to others. Curiosity and openness also help us meet challenges. Instead of thinking, why is this happening to me? We might ask, what can I learn from this? That shift doesn't take away the pain, but it gives it meaning. It helps us grow. A closed mind resists change. An open mind flows with it. To live this way is not always easy. It takes patience. It takes courage. But the reward is a life that feels alive. A life that continues to move, to teach, to surprise. A beginner's mind is not something we achieve once. It is something we return to, again and again. Each time we choose curiosity over judgment, openness over certainty, we come back to this way of seeing. And in that seeing, we find something precious, not outside of us, but within. We have walked together through many ideas: beginner's mind, not knowing, humility, letting go, and the beauty of the present. But in the end, this journey is not about ideas. It is about how we live, moment to moment. Beginner's mind is not a trick or a technique. It is a way of being, a way of meeting life with softness, with interest, and without the heavy burden of needing to know everything. In this way, we make space for something deeper to appear: clarity, calm, and perhaps even joy. There is no final step, no finish line. We return to the beginning again and again. That is the path. Some days we may feel clear, other days confused. Both are part of the way. What matters is that we continue walking, with gentle eyes and an open heart. If anything you heard in these talks has touched you, I am grateful. Sometimes just one quiet sentence can stay with us for a long time. It may come back later, in an unexpected moment, and help us see more clearly. I would also like to say thank you, from my heart, for your time and presence. Whether you have been listening on your way to work, during a quiet evening, or somewhere in between, I feel honored to have shared this space with you. To those who have shown support through likes, subscriptions, kind comments, or even super thanks, please know that it means a great deal. Your kindness allows this small voice to keep speaking, and I do not take that for granted. Thank you, truly. If you feel that these words may help someone else in your life, you're warmly welcome to share them. And if there is something you'd like to say, I'm always happy to hear your thoughts in the comments. May we all continue to return, not to the past, but to this moment. May we meet each day, not with certainty, but with wonder. And in doing so, may we discover that everything we need has been here all along.